is Atlantic Television Network. Welcome to Global News. First, the highlights. Fubara says peace efforts yielding results. Joint Committee approves new states for Southeast. ADC to petition ECOWAS over indecent attacks. West Bank to invest $14 billion in agri-transformation. Government revokes ousted president's nationality in Madagascar. Alex Iwobi celebrates 300th appearance. I want to retire from business at 60, says Obi Cubana.
In a world where marketing commitment.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara is currently happy with the peaceful atmosphere of the state, adding that the peace efforts of some individuals were gradually yielding the desired results. A statement issued by his chief press secretary, Nelson Chukudi, Fubara said genuine developments could only thrive in an atmosphere of unity and stability. The governor made the statement at a civic reception in honor of his Deputy Governor Professor Ngozi Odu held at Government Secondary School in Akabuka Community, Ogba, Egbema, Ndoni local government area, and was encouraged by growing signs of unity and reconciliation across the state, while urging citizens to embrace peace fully so that development projects can flourish. He said political actors who once refused to share the same space together, describing the development as evidence that peace has truly returned to Rivers State. The governor, who unveiled plans to begin the rehabilitation of internal roads and the renovation of government secondary school, Akabuka, thanked the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, for the role he played in his emergence as governor, saying that he didn't take it for granted, and also commended traditional rulers, youths, women, and political stakeholders for their peaceful disposition, unity of purpose, and for standing by his deputy. In her remarks, Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu said the reception left her overwhelmed and grateful, describing the turnout as a testament of the peace, unity, and love in her community. Operatives of the Delta State Police Command have arrested suspected arms dealer, his similar accomplice, and the recovery of a large cache of ammunition in Warri. The Rivers Police Public Relations Officer, Bryce Edafe, who disclosed this in a statement in Warri, said the police acted on credible intelligence from the Force Technical Intelligence Unit Abuja, while operatives of the Commissioner of Police Special Assignment Team, led by Julius Robinson, apprehended a female suspect identified as Jamila Abubakar at Konoi Filling Station along the Warri-Patani Road, Eforum. Meanwhile, the State Commissioner of Police, Olufemi Abaniwanda, has commended the operatives for their diligence, describing the arrest as a clear demonstration of the command's resolve to disrupt criminal networks and stop the flow of illegal arms in Delta State, and also reaffirmed the command's commitment to sustaining the fight against crime, while urging residents to remain vigilant and report suspicious activities to the police control room. The CP assured the people of Delta State that the command remains steadfast in its duty to safeguard lives and property, while ensuring that criminal elements face the full weight of the law. Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo says no contractor in the state has paid any bribe to secure projects under his watch since he assumed office last year and threatened to sack non-performing and incompetent contractors handling different projects across the state. Governor Okpebholo made the remarks when the leadership of the Inter-Party Advisory Council in Edo State paid him a courtesy visit at Government House, Benin City, and also assured that his administration remains firmly committed to transparency, service, and inclusive governance. A statement on Sunday by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Fred Itua, the IPAC delegation, comprised chairmen of 17 political parties in Edo State and Governor Okpebholo. Flanked by top leaders of All Progressives Congress, APC thanked IPAC for its goodwill and pledged to deepen developments across Edo. He called on IPAC to remain partners in progress, stressing that the time for partisan politics was over and that governance must now take center stage, and also reiterated his commitment to shine agenda while focusing on security, health, infrastructure, nutrition and agriculture, and education. Edo State government and the state chapter of the People's Democratic Party have engaged in a war of words over the recent abduction of a young lady, Aisha Wahab, who was kidnapped in Auchi, Edo North last Tuesday. This is coming after Wahab, who had in a viral video pleaded for help to raise ransom money, regained her freedom on Friday. On Friday night, after her abductors demanded 20 million naira, prompting her aged mother to publicly appeal for assistance from well-meaning Edo residents. However, the Edo State chapter of the PDP in a statement said the incident exposed what it described as the complete dereliction of duty by the administration of Governor Monday Okpebholo. The statement signed by the party's publicity secretary, Dan Osa Ogbeje, said traffic ordeal of Aisha Wahab was further exposed beyond any debate. The complete dereliction of duty of the Monday Okpebholo-led administration, adding that instead of mobilizing the state security apparatus to rescue the victim, the government was preoccupied with what it described as political comedy of promising 2.5 million votes for President Tinubu. But reacting, the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Kasim Afegboa, dismissed the PDP's claims, insisting that the government remains firmly on top of the security situation in the state, and also accused the PDP of hypocrisy. Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo has stirred arguments after announcing cash reward for every ward won by his party, the All Progressives Grand Alliance, in the forthcoming November 8th governorship election. While speaking during the party's campaign rally in Umuze, Orumba South local government area, Soludo promised to give his party supporters 1 million naira and also provoked backlash from opposition parties and civil society organizations, which described the move as open inducement and a gross violation of the Electoral Act. This is coming after about 2.8 million registered voters are expected to participate in the poll, in which 16 political parties and their candidates will contest the governorship seat, and the newly appointed chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amupitan, said the significance of the Anambra election in consolidating the country's democracy. The National Vice Chairman of the All Progressives Congress in the Southeast, Dr. Ijoma Arodiogbu, said Soludo's action amounted to vote buying and abuse of office, while the ADC's National Publicity Secretary, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, urged INEC to act swiftly, describing Soludo's promise as a public confession of vote buying. Former Zonal Organizing Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Mike Ahumibe, also faulted the development, saying it undermined electoral integrity and elections would longer be free and fair, while the executive director of the Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership and rights activist Debo Adenima said Soludo's action had institutionalized vote buying and monetized the electoral process in the states. A Lagos State Police Command has mourned the demise of the divisional police officer in charge of Festac Division, Matilda Ngbaronye, who died on Friday after 15 years of service. The spokesperson of the Lagos Police Command, Abimbola Adebisi, in a statement, said Ngbaronye died after undergoing surgery at a medical center in Surulere area of the state. Adebisi said the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Jimoh Olohundari, and all officers and men of the command commiserated with the deceased family and aged mother on the loss. According to her, Olohundari has reached out to the late DPO's husband and her elder brother, who is a priest, to extend the command's condolences and support, adding that burial arrangements for the late female cop would be communicated in due course. Ngbaronye, who joined the force on April 19, 2010, rose steadily through the ranks to become one of the distinguished female officers in the Lagos State Police Command, and she served in various capacities, including as the crime officer at Dolphin Estate Division, Ikoyi, and general investigation fingerprint expert at the State Criminal Investigation Department, Panti. She also headed the Public Complainants Bureau before her deployment to the African Union mission in Somalia, where she served as Public Information Officer and earned commendations for her performance. And in December 2020, she was appointed Deputy Police Public Relations Officer for the Lagos State Command by the then Commissioner of Police, Hakeem Udumosu. She was promoted to the rank of Superintendent of Police in February 2021, and in December 2024 was among 1,348 officers elevated by the Police Service Commission to the rank of Chief Superintendent. The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority and others and officers of the Nigeria Police Force have evacuated the remains of a motorist who died in a lone midnight accident under the Alaka Bridge in Surulere, Lagos. According to a statement issued on Sunday by the Director of Public Affairs and Enlightenment, Adebayo Taufik, the deceased was reportedly driving under the influence of alcohol when he lost control of the vehicle, adding that eyewitnesses and forensic evidence gathered at the site corroborated reports that the deceased was intoxicated, a condition that severely impaired his judgment and reaction time, leading to the catastrophic loss of control. Officers of the newly inaugurated LASMA 24-hour night operation squad covering the Surulere axis responded promptly, condoned off the scene to prevent further accidents, and alerted the Body Thomas Police Division. Taufik said the police later documented the incident and released the remains of the deceased to his wife and family members, contacted through the mobile phone recovered from the wreckage. LASMA General Manager Mr. Olalekan Bakari Oki described the crash as a tragic yet sobering reminder of the fatal consequences of intoxicated driving, and further urged motorists to remain vigilant, responsible and safety conscious, especially during the Ember months, a period historically associated with increased road accidents. The Lagos State Police Command has dismissed reports circulating on social media alleging that its officers attacked residents during a government-led demolition exercise in the Oworon-Shoki area of Lagos. A statement issued on Sunday by its spokesperson, SP Abimbola Adebisi, the command described the reports as false and mischievous, saying they were aimed at misrepresenting the facts and misleading the public, adding that the demolition was conducted by authorized departments and task force following due process. She said affected residents had been duly notified months earlier and that compensation had already been paid to legitimate occupants, stressing that the presence of police personnel during the demolition was purely to prevent any breakdown of law and order, and at no time did officers of the command engage in any act of violence, harassment, or collaboration with hoodlums as falsely reported. The command urged members of the public to disregard the viral reports and verify information before sharing, adding that the Lagos Police under Commissioner of Police CP Olohundari Jimoh remains committed to protecting lives and property, upholding the rule of law and supporting lawful government policies that promote peace and development in the state. President Bola Tinubu has commissioned some newly completed projects at the University of Ilorin as part of activities marking the institution's 40th convocation ceremonies. The projects include the Faculty of Social Sciences building, a block of 4 lecture halls for the faculties of Social Sciences and Management Sciences, the Department of English Drama studio in the Faculty of Arts, the renovated blocks 1 to 10, the renovated Department of Geography and Environmental Management building, the remodeled Uni-Loring Innovation Hub, and the Technical Entrepreneurship Center Road. Speaking at the event, the president, who was represented by the Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Technology, Akure Futa, Prof. Adenike Temidayo Oladiji, said the newly commissioned projects underscored the essence of a true university system. Dedicated to the service of humanity, the President charged the university authorities to ensure proper maintenance and monitoring of the facilities, adding that his administration's renewed hope agenda remains committed to advancing education and infrastructural development across Nigeria, and also commended the Vice Chancellor, Professor Wahab Olasupo Egbewole, SAN, and his management team for their dedication to transforming the university and aligning its vision with national development goals. Also speaking, the Chancellor of the University and Emir of Katsina, Alhaji Abdul Mumin Kabir Usman, who was represented by the Waziri of Katsina, Senator Ibrahim Ida, lauded Uni-Loring's commitment to academic excellence and a conducive learning environment, described the Commission project as worthless initiatives that would enhance teaching, learning, and research, adding that the university's focus on skill development will prepare students for life beyond the classroom. In his remarks, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Egbewole, expressed gratitude to President Tinubu for honoring the institution's invitation and supporting its infrastructural growth. Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Appeal Panel for the Ekiti Delegate Congress, Dr. Dennis Otiotio, has lauded the peaceful and transparent conduct of the exercise held across the state. Speaking at the party's state secretariat in Ado Ekiti, Otiotio, who also serves as the APC chairman in Bayelsa State, said the panel did not receive a single petition or complaint from any of the 16 local government areas following the Congress, adding that the public notice had been issued and circulated to all local government secretariats. Otiotio commended the leadership of Governor Biodun Oyebanji and also attributed the unity and peaceful atmosphere within the party to his inclusive governance style, and also appreciated the National Working Committee, NWC, of the party for the confidence reposed. In the appeal panel, in his remarks, the Ekiti State APC chairman, Mr. Olushola Eleshi, confirmed that the delegate Congress was conducted peacefully and without any form of malpractice, and commended the Electoral Committee for their diligence and transparency, while expressing optimism that the appeal panel would find no issue to contest. Immediate past governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, has expressed confidence that the People's Democratic Party will reclaim power in the state in 2027. Otom disclosed this in Makurdi while hosting members of the PDP G14 and other stakeholders from the 14 local government areas of the state, adding that the G14 comprises PDP elders drawn from the Benue North, East, and Benue Northwest senatorial districts. The former governor dismissed reports suggesting he planned to defect from the PDP, describing them as the work of mischief makers, and also reaffirmed his loyalty to the party, and also stressed that the PDP would emerge stronger and more united ahead of the 2027 elections. He called on party stakeholders in the state to stay resolute and committed to rebuilding the PDP, and assured members that he would not contest any elective position in 2027, but would support all PDP candidates to ensure victory. Otom has also advised all party aspirants to consult widely and not be discouraged by the recent wave of defections to the ruling party. Troops conducting security operations in Kebbi State have killed about 80 armed bandits attempting to infiltrate the state from the Zamfara axis. A statement issued on Sunday by Abdullahi Idris Zuru, Special Advisor to Governor Nasir Idris on Communication and Strategy, said the operation, which took place in Ngaski local government area, followed the strategic deployment of troops along Kebbi's borders with Sokoto, Zamfara and Niger State. Zuru said that the deployment was part of ongoing efforts by the state government to strengthen security across border communities and curb bandit activities, adding that credible intelligence led to the positioning of troops around Makurdi village when they engaged a group of heavily armed bandits attempting to cross from Niger State between Friday 9th and Saturday. The director of security in the state, Abdulrahman Usman, who confirmed that about 80 bandits were killed during the encounter, while several motorcycles were recovered and two kidnapped victims were rescued. I beg your pardon. The statement also said that the Kebbi state government has been collaborating closely with security agencies, particularly the Nigerian Army, in the fight against banditry, while Governor Idris provided logistical support, including 100 times and 5,000 motorcycles to enhance troop mobility and response capacity. Kano State Police Command has arrested 2 suspected members of a bandit syndicate and intensified security operations in parts of the state, particularly Makoda local government area. The State Commissioner of Police, Ibrahim Adamu Bakori, who disclosed this in a statement issued by the command's public relations officer, SP Abdullahi Kiyawa, said the suspects were apprehended during a coordinated operation carried out by operatives of the command's anti-kidnapping squad and Shanono division at about 2 a.m. on Friday, following credible intelligence from residents of the Farin Ruwa community in Shanono local government area. He said the suspects were allegedly collaborating with bandits attempting to infiltrate Kano State, adding that investigations had commenced to unravel their network and apprehend other members of the syndicate, and the command was engaging key stakeholders to resolve ongoing clashes between herders and farmers. In Bari Ward, Makoda local government area, he also said a meeting chaired by the area commander of Dombata, ACP Mohammed Wazo, and a follow-up session presided over by the Commissioner of Police at the command headquarters were held to find lasting solutions to the crisis and further reaffirmed the readiness of this command to sustain its operations against criminal elements across the state, while urging continued public operation and intelligence sharing. Jigawa state government says plans are underway to establish breast cancer screening centers across the state as part of efforts to enhance early detection and treatment of the disease. A statement by the wife of the state governor, Hajiya Amina Umar Namadi, disclosed this during an event to mark the 2025 World Breast Cancer Awareness Month held at the NYSC headquarters in Dutse as a health awareness walk organized by the Hamdan Kasirab Civic Women Assistance Foundation in collaboration with the Medical Cancer Foundation Jigawa chapter stressed on the need for women to prioritize their health through regular screening. The campaign Matters Every Story is Unique aimed to sensitize women on the importance of early diagnosis and treatments to reduce deaths caused by breast cancer, adding that the environment featured a public lecture delivered by medical experts who highlighted preventive measures and the roles of families and communities in combating uh, the disease, which continues to claim thousands of lives globally every year. In her remarks, Hajiya Amina Namadi urged women to visit nearby health facilities for regular medical checkup and to seek immediate attention if they notice any unusual changes in their breast, adding that present administration under Governor Umar Namadi has upgraded over 180 primary health care facilities along with several secondary and tertiary health institutions to improve access to quality health care across the state. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Please stay with us. Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Joint Committee of the Senate and House of Representatives on Constitution Review has approved the creation of an additional state in the Southeast geopolitical zone. According to a statement by the media unit of the committee, the resolution was reached at a two-day retreat in Lagos, where it reviewed 55 proposals for state creation across the country. The session, chaired by the Deputy Senate President Barau Jibrin and co-chaired by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, resolved that in the spirit of fairness and equity, the federal government should create another state for the region. Kalu, who joined other lawmakers to champion additional state creation for the region, argued that the new state would give the people a sense of belonging, adding that when created, the Southeast will be at par with the South-South, Southwest, North Central, and Northeast zones, each having 6 states. The Southeast is the only geopolitical zone with 5 states comprising Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo, while the Northwest comprises 7 states: Kaduna, Kano, Kebbi, Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Jigawa. According to the statement, Senator Abdul Nengi Bauchi, Central, moved the motion for the creation of the new state, which was seconded by Ibrahim Isiaka. Ifo Ewe Koro Ogun State at the retreat, and the committee also established a committee to consider the creation additional states and local government areas across all 6 geopolitical zones, stressing that a total of 278 proposals were submitted for review. House of Representatives has invited for investigation critical stakeholders, including the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, Standard Organization of Nigeria, Federal Ministries of Health, and Federal Airports, Authority of Nigeria, to submit a memoranda ahead of his probe into a prevalence in the use, trafficking, and regulation of illicit drugs across the country. Also invited for the submission of inputs are Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Group of MAN, PMG MAN, major pharmaceutical companies, Emzor Fitzin, May and Baker Juhel Dana, Nigerian Breweries PLC, Guinness, Nigeria PLC International Distillers Limited, and tobacco industry representatives, as well as the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Nigeria, Police Force Nigeria Customs Service, Nigeria Immigration Service, Nigerian Correctional Service, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Medical Association, the Association of Psychiatrists in Nigeria, National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, Nigerian Bar Association, Civil Society Network, and Substance Abuse, and the National Council of Nigeria are expected to make input. The committee also invited development partners comprising the United Nations Office on Drugs and Office and Crime, World Health Organization, United Nations Development Program, U.S. Agency for International Development, and the United Nations Children's Fund are also billed to submit memoranda to the committee, adding that the House had earlier constituted an ad hoc committee to probe the prevalence, regulation, and impact of drugs, tobacco, alcohol, illicit trafficking, and related crimes. Across the country, the panel chaired by the member representing Owo State Federal Constituency, Ondo State, Oluwatimehin Adelege, was constituted following the adoption of a motion to probe the prevalence of drug abuse by Nigerians nationwide. While in a statement issued on Sunday, Adelege said the committee is charged with the mandate of examining the root causes, identifying institutional weaknesses, regulatory and enforcement gaps, and developing practical solutions to combat drug use and trafficking. The committee is also expected to come up with recommendations aimed at strengthening national drug control mechanisms, promoting public health, and protecting citizens from substance-related harms, and urged Nigerians to submit memoranda to the committee addressing concerns, recommendations, and proposed interventions on the subject matter to guide the panel drafts its reports for submission to the House for further legislative action. Civil society organization Center for Change has condemned what it described as the alleged unlawful rearrest of a political activist and 2023 presidential candidate for the African Action Congress, Omoyele Sowore, by the police shortly after he was granted bail by a magistrate's court in Abuja. The group described the police action as undemocratic, unconstitutional, and a gross violation of the rule of law. A statement signed by its president, Joe Odumakin, said the police acted beyond their powers by taking Sowore into custody instead of allowing the Nigerian Correctional Service to handle the matter in line with due process, adding that the Nigeria Police Force staged at the magistrate court shortly after Comrade Omoyele Sowore was granted bail. The organization said the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the African Charter of Human and People's Rights, and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights guarantee every citizen's right to freedom of expression and peaceful assembly. It also called on the federal government to respect the rule of law and comply with the court's decision by releasing Sowore and other protesters arrested during the recent demonstrations. Endorsement of a former Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Tanimu Turaki SAN, as National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party has sparked opposition from camps loyal to ex-Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido and former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike following the PDP's National Convention scheduled for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan, Oyo State. Deputy National Chairman South Taufik Arabaja emerged as the Southwest Zone's consensus candidate for the position of National Secretary, and while speaking on the issue, Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal, who downplayed the disagreements, assured that efforts were being made to carry all stakeholders along. During the PDP 102nd National Executive Committee meeting held on August 25 in Abuja, the party resolved to zone its 2027 presidential ticket to the south, while the position of national chairman was reserved for the north. And following the decision, northern leaders met over the weekend and further micro-zoned the chairmanship position to the northwest, and the decision was expected to be finalized at a zonal stakeholders meeting. The meeting attended by key party figures including PDP Governors Forum, Chairman and Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, Plateau State Governor Caleb Mufwang, Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal, PDP Board of Trustees Secretary Ahmed McCarthy, and Acting National Chairman Umar Damagom. Also had in attendance former Senate President Bukola Saraki, former Minister of Information Professor Jerry Garner, and Senate Minority Leader Abba Moro, among others. The PDP National Organizing Secretary Omar Bature, while speaking on behalf of some northern leaders, refuted claims that the Northwest had endorsed Turaki, adding that no such meeting was held and that the zone would soon make public its preferred candidate. African Democratic Congress says it will petition the international community over what it described as persistent attacks on its members across the country, and also alleged that the violent assaults on its members were becoming a pattern in all states. Enrolled by the All Progressives Congress, raising concerns about a deliberate attempt to suppress opposition ahead of 2027 elections. ADC's National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi accused the ruling party of suppressing opposition and settling the stage for violent elections in 2007, and also recorded several attacks on its members in Kaduna, Ekiti, Ogun, and Lagos states. This is coming after the ADC party's secretariat in Ekiti state was in the early hours of last Tuesday set ablaze ahead of an inauguration ceremony for its state executive, and some hoodlums who invaded the secretariat attacked members, also vandalized vehicles and motorcycles, and disrupted agreements for the event. The ADC National Secretary, Ogbeni Ralph Aregbesola, who went to perform the inauguration, described the attack as shameful display of intolerance, a threat to democracy, and political intolerance. While in Lagos, the ADC reported that hoodlums attacked its members during a rally held at Lion Field in the Alimosho area of Welcomed. The 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and the party's 2023 governorship flag bearer in Lagos State, Badebo Rhodes Vivor. In August, the Ogun State chapter of the ADC accused the police of disrupting its campaign in Sagamu for the Remo Federal Constituency by-elections held on August 16, and Abdullahi said the ADC needed to inform the international community about what its members were going through in the country, and also recalled that a court in Canada had a few months ago described the APC and the People's Democratic Party as terrorist organizations, saying recent attacks were only reinforcing that perception. Peter Obi, former Labour Party presidential candidate, has described some internet fraudsters known as Yahoo Boys as geniuses who need guidance rather than condemnation, adding that the individuals are creatives who lack proper direction and could contribute to innovation and national development. Speaking in Onitsha, Anambra State, Peter Obi said, while money is necessary, true wealth is based on integrity, character, and purpose. Also, Obi said wealth should uplift individuals and society by promoting education as well as reduce poverty and creating opportunities for dignified lives. 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has paid a tribute to the late former First Lady, Stella Obasanjo, and the former Vice President, described as Mrs. Obasanjo as a woman of war, uncommon grace, intellect, and compassion, whose legacy continues to inspire service and humanity across generations. In a post via his official X handle, Atiku expressed solidarity with his former boss, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, on the occasion of the 20th anniversary of his wife's passing, and also recalled the late First Lady's profound contributions to national development, particularly her dedication to the welfare of women and children and vulnerable Nigerians during her time in office. Atiku also said the First Lady's memory continued to bring comfort and inspiration to all whom knew her. Stella Obasanjo served as Nigeria's First Lady from 1999 until her death in October 2005. Nigerian Association of Residents Doctors says it would embark on a nationwide indefinite strike starting from November 1, following the expiration of a 30-day ultimatum earlier issued to the federal government. NARD President Dr. Mohammed Suleiman, who disclosed this, said the association's National Executive Council reached the decision after reviewing the government's response to their demands during its virtual emergency meeting, adding that the strike notice would be formally issued within 24 hours as mandated by the NEC. This is coming after NARD had, on September 26, given the federal government 1 month to address a series of unresolved issues affecting the welfare and training of residents, doctors, and medical officers across the country said resident doctors and medical officers across the country will endure the excessive and unregulated work hours spanning several consecutive days, which endanger both their health and patient safety. The association also raised concern over this non-payment of their standing 25% and 35% upward review, which should have been settled by the end of August 2025, despite several engagements with the federal government, and described as just the dismissal of 5 residents across from the Federal Teaching Hospital, Lokoja, saying the action came amid widespread burnout at the ongoing migration of the medical professionals abroad. It further decried the exclusion of resident doctors from the specialist allowance despite their vital role in delivering specialist-level clinical care to patients nationwide, and faulted the exclusion of medical and dental house officers from the civil service scheme, a policy that has denied them rightful emoluments, professional recognition, and timely payment of salaries, and also condemned the downgrading of newly employed resident doctors from CONMES 3 Step 3 to CONMES 2 Step 2, which has resulted in salary shortages and arrears in several federal hospitals. Some contractors in charge of supplying food to inmates in correctional centers across the country have raised the alarm over alleged federal government's failure to pay outstanding debts amounting to more than 30 billion naira. 2 of the contractors who claim to have supplied meals to facilities under the Nigerian Correctional Service said they had been owed for several months, including a backlog of approximately 7.7 billion naira from late 2023, in addition to an unimplemented feeding rate approved since August 2024. They also lamented that despite the government's approval to increase a daily feeding allowance for inmates from 750 to 1,125 naira, payments had continued at the old rate, creating a 23 billion naira shortfall that have emerged from the government's inability to implement a revised feeding allowance approved over a year ago. This is coming after, in August 2024, the presidency approved an upward review of the daily feeding allowance for inmates from 750 naira to 1,120 naira. 25 naira per inmate, I beg your pardon, an adjustment due to rising food prices and the ripple effects of fuel subsidy removal. The revised rate, which was expected to take effect from August 1, 2024, was aimed at improving the quality of meals provided in correctional centers and easing financial pressure on contractors, while suppliers lamented that the reviewed rates remain unimplemented, leaving them to operate under the old payment structure. And now to our business news. World Bank plans to deploy as much as $14 billion to boost global agribusiness by 2030 through a new program dubbed AgriConnect as part of a broader effort to create jobs and drive inclusive growth in developing economies. The initiative was declared during the World Bank Group International Monetary Fund annual meetings under the theme From Sectors to Systems, Building Job-Rich Economies at Scale, and is designed to help shift smallholder farming from subsistence to results-driven enterprise. The lender says AgriConnect would generate millions of jobs while strengthening food systems and rural economies in low and middle income countries. While the World Bank President Ajay Banga said the program made a major shift in the institution's approach from financing isolated projects to building entire economic ecosystems that can deliver sustainable job creation. According to the World Bank, family farms, including more than 500 million smallholders, produce about 80 of the world's food, yet many remain trapped in poverty without access to markets, finance, or modern technology. The initiative will prioritize investments in infrastructure, digital technology, and policy reforms that help farmers increase productivity, integrate into value chains, and access financing, adding that the bank hopes to strengthen food systems and reduce the risk of unemployment and hunger in rural areas. And now to our international tidbits. Madagascar's new government has stripped ousted President Andry Rajoelina of his Malagasy nationality in a decree published Friday, 10 days after he was removed in a military takeover, and the decree means that Rajoelina, who was impeached on October 14th after fleeing the island nation in the wake of weeks of protest, would not be able to contest future elections. The decree published in the official gazette said Rajoelina's Malagasy nationality was revoked because he had acquired French nationality in 2014. Local media reported as photographs of the documents were shared online, adding that it had confirmed the decree with the entourage of the new Prime Minister, Herint Salama Rajaonarivelo, who signed the order. The decree cited laws stipulating that a Malagasy who voluntarily acquires a foreign nationality loses their Malagasy nationality, while Rajoelina's French nationality caused a scandal when it was reviewed ahead of the November 2023 elections. Nearly 10 years after it was granted, the 51-year-old politician fled Madagascar after Army Colonel Michael Rajaonarivelo said on October 11 his Kastat unit would refuse orders to put down the youth-led protest movement, which security forces had attempted to suppress with violence. U.S. President Donald Trump co-signed a ceasefire agreement between Thailand and Cambodia in Malaysia, the first stop on his Asia tour, which will culminate in talks with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. The deal was signed by the Thai Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul and Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manit, together with Trump and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, following the bloody border disputes this year, adding that the agreement will see the release of 18 Cambodian prisoners of war on humanitarian grounds. A press release from Cambodia's foreign ministry said Malaysia's foreign minister Mohammed Hassan, who has been closely involved in the talks on behalf of ASEAN, said the latest agreement centered around establishing regional observers in the border conflict areas. Nigerian man Lekan Akinsoji and his accomplice Sunjata Keita, both 27 and from Forest Gate, have been sentenced to life imprisonment for the fatal stabbing of 21-year-old Ahmed Dinja by East London courts. Akinsoji, a drill rapper, will serve a minimum of 28 years, while his accomplice Keita will serve as at least 22 years after their conviction for murder at the Old Bailey. This is coming after on 2nd April 2017, the court heard that the pair, dressed in black with balaclavas and gloves, carried out a planned gang ride out before chasing Dinja into an office license near Customs House Station, where Akinsoji stabbed him in the heart. The victim, known as his street name, Greener, was killed at the scene, just meters from his home. And now to our sports news. Fulham midfielder Alex Iwobi has celebrated his 300th Premier League appearances. Iwobi reached the milestone in Fulham's 2-1 defeat to Newcastle United, and the 29-year-old made history as the first Nigerian to achieve the feat. The former Arsenal player is now the fifth African with the highest number of appearances in the English top flight. And it will be said it is a big honor for him to achieve the milestone. And now to our entertainment news. Billionaire businessman and nightlife mogul Obinna Iyegbo, popularly known as Obi Cubana, said he plans to retire from active business within the next 10 years. Speaking in a recent interview, the 50-year-old entrepreneur said he intends to step back from the fast-paced life at age 60 to focus on touring the world and spending quality time with his wife. According to the father of five, his current goal is to build a strong legacy and secure his children's financial independence, adding that his busy lifestyle, often involving frequent business trips, is all part of laying the foundation for a stable future. He also said his approach to success means working smart and creating a sustainable system that allows him to enjoy the fruits of his labor in his later years. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Fubara says peace efforts yielding results. Joint committee approves new states for Southeast. ADC to petition ECOWAS over indecent attacks. West Bank to invest $14 billion in agri-transformation. Government revokes ousted president's nationality in Madagascar. Alex Iwobi celebrates 300th appearance. I want to retire from business at 60, says Obi Cubana. I am Francis Neka. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms, on Twitter, now X at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.